Barber Shop Podcast. Here we are at Boxo Studio on another wonderful Wednesday here in the month of March. We're approaching the Ides of March, and people are going a little bit bat crazy, aren't they, Ryan Cannon?
Yeah.
They're not happy.
No.
There's a lack of happiness.
There's a severe lack of happiness.
You know, and it's not like we don't do our part.
No.
I mean,
we try.
Each and every week we kind of like fire up the happy meter and bring some good happiness to the people who are desperate for some happiness in this, like, probably the longest and coldest winter in a generation.
In mine, at least.
Yeah. But you know what? If you can't talk about the weather, what can you talk about, Ryan?
Nothing.
Nothing? I think you can. I think you can talk about music. I think you can talk about arts. I think you can talk about creativity, the wonderful things, the things that feed us, feed our minds, feed our souls. And, you know, we're a bit late getting going tonight, but, you know, was there a technical difficulty we didn't run into?
There was unforeseen circumstances.
That we dealt with on a situation by situation basis.
On a case to case basis.
Case to case basis. I'm learning the lingo. Well, we're in for a treat.
Yep.
And you're in for a treat tonight. We at Barbershop Podcast, we've got Mississippi Benz in the house, which is a brand new outfit that's been put together with some of the slickest players in town, headed up by the wonderful Mary Simon. And I'm going to introduce them as I tend to do left to right because it's much easier for me that way. In the studio today we have Andrew Aldridge, who is a guitar slinger and a producer and incredible musical man about town. And I have to notice that many of the ladies in town seem to really favor you as a side man. What is it about your mojo?
That's been going on for years.
For years?
Yeah, Danny Michelle's the only non-lady, I think. Danny Michelle is kind of a lady name, yeah. So.
Well, what can you? What?
I think. I don't know. I always end up backing up female singers.
You don't do it on purpose. It just kind of works.
No, it just sort of happens that way.
I think no, you are very emotive, and you know, you're a good listener. I think a good guitar player is always a good listener first, and I've seen you play a number of times, and
thank you.
You always have taste. I'm not going there. Carey Ashworth, we just had you in here, what was it, like a month and a half ago or something like that, a month ago. Yep. And you're rocking your same spot on the couch, and I am so happy about that. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Good? Yeah? Music is still treating you fairly and equitably?
Yeah.
That's good. And I'm glad that you're in here with this outfit tonight. And Mary Simon, I've been slugging, trying to get you in here, and one thing or another happens, but you finally came in, and I'm so happy that I kind of caught you when you've got the excitement of a new musical outfit today. So how are you doing?
Good. This is our first radio interview as a band.
You see, the first media interaction, and it's forever. Barbershop Podcast, it's going to be in cyberspace forever. You know, like that those guys in Superman, you know, and flipping through space, you know, it's forever. And the good thing you're doing it when everyone's young and handsome and looking good, right? And Robin Pieirson on drums. How did you hook up with this?
That's a long story.
Okay.
I've known Mary for years. And there's a lot of positive memories.
It wasn't conscription or anything.
No.
Because Mary has a tendency of getting her way, right? I hear that. It's like when Mary wants, she's very directed. She knows what she wants.
Well, it was kind of an accident this band came together. Accidentally, really.
This band, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's start. Okay, we'll start with you, Mare. You to be a songwriter and to be a solo artist, is it something that you do is to kind of morph it into a band and take that work into a new direction on a regular basis, or is this kind of like a new thrill for you?
It is a new thrill for me because it happened really organically, and I've been trying to force it for many years with different outfits of people, and then when I wasn't expecting it, the four of us played a show together, and I just pulled in people who I consider good friends who I've played with a lot, but none of us had played collectively, and everything just meshed really well.
You could feel it right off the bat that it was.
And everyone could feel it,
yeah.
I think.
And both of you have played with multiple outfits, and it's like when you play with someone, it's like I've only got so many hours in the day, so much time. I'm not going to waste my time or someone else's time unless I get a feeling that this is something that's special. So we're going to touch on the music scene, the Hamilton music scene, but I usually get started by finding out about people's musical roots. What were yours, like the earliest ones that you remember?
Oh, well, I grew up with 3 records that I remember. Carole King, James Taylor, and Amy Grant.
Nice.
And that's what I played repeatedly as a child that my mom had, and it grew from there.
Andrew, what about you? You seem like you're one of these people who are versed with like a left brain talent and a right brain talent at the same time.
Yeah, I grew up listening to everything. But I'm the much youngest brother of the family. I have an older sister and brother that are like 12 and 14 years older than me. So when I was growing up, I would listen to my sister's Beatles records, my brother's Peter Frampton and ELO records, and then and some of his R&B stuff that he liked as well. And for me, it was interesting because when I sort of got to that age where, when kids want to start listening to albums or start listening to bands, they were so much older than me. I kind of wanted to, I grew up listening to their stuff, but I wanted to pick my own thing. Mm-hmm. So I sort of actively searched out and picked out other bands like Queen, one of them. They weren't into them, but I discovered them, so they became a band for me. And
at what age did you start playing musically?
It's hard for me to remember exactly. Like, I know that I started taking some lessons when I was around 12, but my sister was a singer, songwriter-ish in the late 70s, early 80s. And so when she wasn't around, I taught myself how to play guitar before I took any lessons by going through her Beatles songbook and looking at chord diagrams in her acoustic. So I would steal her acoustic when she wasn't in the house, basically, and then took lessons after that. But the first few lessons, they were like, well, you already know these chords and whatever.
You're halfway home.
I was halfway there. Yeah,
halfway home. And with you, Carey, like we touched on this, but to refresh people who hadn't seen the other show that you were on, musically, it was a bit of a potpourri for you.
Well,
what were the influences that were grabbing you?
My parents were really into like rock and roll, I guess. I don't know. They listened to a lot of like hard or like prog rock, like Yes and stuff like that, or Supertramp. I don't know. Anyways, I played for since I was like 12, and I played always in alternative rock bands. And then I grew up, and then I started playing in alternative country bands.
Just can't be on the nose, whatever it is. It's not down Main Street. That's awesome. What about you, Robin? Early on,
I actually grew up playing when I was young, about 11 or 12, with my dad in traditional country bands. So I basically learned how to play in clubs.
Were you playing drums right off the bat?
Yeah, playing drums. I played some guitar at the beginning, but then I played drums. Then I did that. Then I went to school after that for music. And then I started to get into like instrumental music, jazz. But then I came back to playing like Americana stuff and folk and country again, roots music.
It's kind of the pocket that we've fallen in around here at Barber Shop Podcast. It's got a lot to do with the studio and the setup of the studio, but that Americana or that roots music or Canadiana or whatever you want to call it is I'm glad that there's a revival and that there's a great fan base for it because not just us old fogies like it anymore. There's a real a groundswell, and I'm seeing it out there as I start to get in social media and look at the different groups and the different pages, and it's like, wow, there's just so much good stuff out there, and it's certainly being explored. So tell me about the birth of Mary Simon as a songwriter.
Oh, well, I actually started pretty late with songwriting. I was 21, and I was in college, and we had, it was the summer in between my second and third year, and I decided to pick up guitar because I did a lot of singing, but I didn't play guitar and I decided to pick up guitar just to write. I didn't think I'd actually perform with it. And then I was in a band in college, and I would just write on the guitar and have someone else play it, and it was really neat because my third year I ended up doing a little EP as a solo act with 4 songs, and then I also was in a band and we recorded a full CD. So, and we did some touring. So that was my start, was in college.
And quite a thrill when you hear your first recording, and kind of inspired you to say, you know, I make my own music. You know, I can go forward with this. So you did the coffee house, you know, scene, and you know, trudged that hard. Yeah. What were some of the places you traveled to? And
well, the most memorable tours, like I've been across Canada a number of times, but
which is not an easy thing as a musician to tour Canada. It's really quite a labor of love.
Yeah, it is. But then when I did my first solo record, I would do these tours where I had a bit of a following in Rochester because there was a mainstream station that played me a lot. So I would play Buffalo, Rochester, and then, you know, hit New York City and go over to Raleigh, Durham area, and straight across to Nashville. And I did that route a number of times, and I loved doing that trek across from Chapel Hill to Nashville because there's some great cities. I love Asheville, North Carolina. I love Knoxville, Tennessee. They're great little places to play. So great music cities.
And refired your energies, surely.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, I love being on the road. Yeah. So you just forget about all your problems at home and go on the road.
So let's talk about when Mississippi Benz, or what has become Mississippi Benz, got together, and that magic moment when you felt something happen. When did you first play together, and how many of you played together the first time?
Well, it originally was going to be a duo with just Andrew and I. We were just wanted, you know, I had worked with Andrew on my last solo record. We co-produced it, and he really came in, and I just loved working with him. He had so many great ideas, and then so we started talking about it. We both work at Gear Music, so I'd come into work and we'd chat, you know, talk about what we wanted to do, and it just was, it was a timing thing too, when we were both ready to do a project that was a band, because I've been trying to have a band that wasn't Mary Simon since I started. Even the first band I was in with Robin, I tried, and it didn't happen. But and so we started getting serious about it, and you know, and then I asked both Carey and Robin to play I was playing the Cat and Fiddle, and it was my birthday, and I hadn't played with Robin for about 4 or 5 years, but Robin and I have played together for over 10 years. We've known each other 15 years, and he's played on 4 of my solo records. So he's no stranger. And we've done duo gigs together. We've done all sorts of things.
So he was money in the bank. You know, you knew it,
Bitcoins.
Yeah.
But when he showed up to I call it my birthday gig. When he showed up to my birthday gig, he had this cool vintage 1930s kit that he had refurbished, and it just sounded awesome and really swampy, and I loved that. And I'd never played with Carey as far as on my stuff together. We just played together in other people's bands, backing other people up, and because all 3 of these guys play with everybody, you know, and then it's been really great because as we've grown after we played together, we felt something, and we kept on playing together, and especially when we did the recording, it just really, you know, I think everyone feels really comfortable in their own skin in this project, and everyone brings a huge amount to the table, and Carey and I have even started co-writing.
Excellent. You know, that's
so I'm
good.
really excited about that.
It all comes together. It takes on a life of its own. All right. Well, why don't you give us a little bit of a taste of some Mississippi Benz, which is you know, again, a swampy, bluesy Americana. but with a very, very definitely a Hamilton bend to it. So here at Barber Shop Podcast, I guess we're going to go right into something called Go Boy.
So this is called Go Boy, and I co-wrote this with Tom Wilson, and he was just like, Mary, I'm sick and tired of these female singers, songwriters saying, woe is me. And this song happens. Yep.
Guy got drunk and he made a wild one. You better believe it. And lighting up the smoke and burning down the house. Yeah, you gotta believe it. You could say it's time to leave it. Think you're number one. Too many times I've seen it. You come up from the bar smelling like a perfume jar. Tie up your laces, baby. I'm done with thinking maybe. I don't need no starting pistol to make you run. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. Keep on running. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go, boy, go. 40 days and nights picking little fights. Right or wrong, it don't matter. Wearing feisty skin, but I ain't looking for a win. Ain't no rainbow gonna come again. No promise can redeem my sin. I don't need no starting pistol to make you run. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. I don't need my big brother banging down your door. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. Better keep on running. Yeah, 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 yeah. Go, boy, go. Ha! I don't need no starting pistol to make you run. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. I don't need no starting pistol to make you run. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. You gotta go, boy, go, boy. Oh. Go, boy, go.
Mississippi Benz here at Boxo Studio and Barbershop Podcast. A wonderful job. Go Boy, a little song co-written with Tom Wilson. The pocket is deep. Yeah, it must be fun to play that one. It's looking like it. So recording process comes in. The songs start to come together. People are excited about it. I know Andrew's a bit of a genius in the studio. Tell me about the recording process.
It was awesome.
It was good. It's nice when it's a good experience. Isn't
Yeah, it was great. We recorded at Porcelain Records, and both Andrew and I have worked with Nick individually, and so we asked Nick Blagona to record us.
And if Nick's watching, good health to you in your recovery. And, you know, that profoundly talented producer in the area. And it must have been thrilled to work with him.
Yeah, it was. And it's the first time I've gone into the studio, and the term live off the floor, I guess I've always used that term recording because we would all sit down as a band, play the tune, and we'd keep the drums and keep the bass and then overdub everything else. Yeah. But in this particular instance, we didn't overdub anything. Yeah. So we did, 2 or 3 takes of each song, picked the best take, and a couple songs we added some harmony, and that's it. Yeah. So
that's the way to do it.
So
yeah. And it was really great. Like, Robin was super excited because he's like, I've never heard my drums sound so good.
They were huge.
Yeah.
I know, they're great. I mean, it's just natural, right? Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you don't have to sweat and bend over a song, it's really nice when it comes together. So.
And it's the sound of the room at Porcelain. It's the board they have. It's the people in the room, right?
Yeah.
That and I've heard someone say this way long ago, that production is about getting the right people in the room.
Yeah.
And really, that's really what happened.
Yeah, garbage in, garbage out. It's like, it doesn't matter what format you're talking about. It's true, and you can't overthink things. And and you always have to remind yourself that some of these early recordings, like the stuff that George Martin had, it's like you can buy that for a few $100s now. Yeah. And those amazing recordings were made on what we would consider quite basic gear now. So it's about the people.
Yeah,
the people
and so much is overdubbed, so much is auto-tuned in this day and age, and we Carey's giving her thumbs down.
It's not good.
But Nick's been there from the beginning, before there was, even a click track to play to, and we didn't use a click. So it was so refreshing to record that way, and then to be so pleased with what we heard when it was finished.
Well, we're gonna spin one. First one we're gonna spin off of the record, and what's it called?
Thinking in Rewind.
Thinking in Rewind. Any special story about?
Well, I wrote it about an old boyfriend from college who I ran into 15 years later when I was went to see a girlfriend play at a show in Vancouver. I happened to be in town, and all of a sudden I saw him. I'm like, oh my goodness, I haven't seen you forever. And it's just that whole reminiscence of seeing someone from your past, and all those butterfly feelings start to come back. And it's like, when there's chemistry, there's always chemistry. So
wonderful. Okay, you've got it right here at Barber Shop Podcast, Thinking in Rewind by Mississippi Benz.
Side of this country, like a fire smoldering all night. Stir it up, make it bright. Every memory sparks a brand new light to burn, burn, to burn, oh, burn. All these years go by like lightning. All this time, and I've forgotten all the ways you trouble my mind, thinking in rewind. Who knew I'd run into you? All the ways you trouble my mind, thinking in rewind. Who knew I'd run into you? Who knew I'd run into you? Who knew I'd run into you?
Somebody's bugging me to play Operate, and I can't play without a pearl tuner.
Mississippi Benz here at barbershoppodcast.com. Beautiful, beautiful sounding work from Nick Bologna.
Laguna.
Laguna.
Baglona. Sorry. And too much tongue-tied. No, I actually want to launch into a great shout out to a couple of people who've got a really great shop in town who have been big friends of the show and are sponsoring the show tonight, and they are supplying a $20 gift certificate. Now, the shop I'm talking about is Crash Landing. It's run by Suzanne Kirkwood and Chris Crash over in the east end of Hamilton, Ottawa Street and Cannon, 1189 Cannon Street East. It is a shop that has strings and sticks, skins, picks, collectible vinyl, CDs, DVDs, T-shirts, books, and more. They've just gone through a nice renovation there. They've got a great rehearsal jam space downstairs. If you want to get a hold of them, you can reach them at 905-548-0039. And again, they're at 1189 Cannon Street East. If you get a hold of us on our Facebook page, Barbershop Podcast, and send us a message, like the page. The first person to do that gets this awesome $20 gift certificate from Crash Landing here at 1189 Cannon in Hamilton, Ontario. Now, the music business, as it is, you've been in it long enough, you still stay excited about it. What are the things, what are the little things that each and every one of you kind of get on a regular basis from music that keeps you going back into it? And we'll start with you, Andrew.
Oh, geez. Putting me on the spot.
You try not to think about it too much.
Yeah,
you might question your sanity.
Yeah, it's just it's the same as it's ever been for me, as far as like finding something new, something I haven't heard before, and something that gets me excited. Really, other than that, I mean, like we were saying before about how, you know, the sort of the technology or the you know, the equipment that were in studios 40 years ago, you know, that some kid on his laptop in his bedroom can make, you know, or has you know, technology way beyond that for much less money, and the ability to record at home and record things, you know, for much cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's cool.
Yeah, it's fully attainable.
Yeah, but it's also, I mean, I have a love-hate side with that whole thing, because then it can go too much in the technology side of things as well. But yeah, so I guess the positive sides of technology, and then just the same of finding something that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Like a band that sounds cool.
Yeah. How about you, Carey? Is there something that you draw from play? I guess the experience of playing live, and playing with other people, the interaction.
I do love playing live, but I also love recording. And I think it comes down to, playing something that's beautiful and makes you want to dance. And it's the one thing that when everything else in your life is ridiculous and you don't like any of it, you can always count on playing to bust you out of that, like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Dukes of Hazzard style, yeah. What about you, Mary? Like, is there one thing, or is it you keep getting surprised by new things that kind of draw you back into the game?
Well, there's so much music out there that you're continually finding new stuff. And so, because I didn't grow up with musical parents, I had a musical family as far as my grandpa, and my dad's mom, my other grandma, but like just now I'm really discovering the blues and the old classic country, and I didn't, there's always new stuff to discover, even if it's really old. Yeah. So there's a never ending, catalog.
It doesn't
out there.
go bad. It doesn't spoil, and that's the great thing about making a recording. There's a neat thing about that's around forever.
Yeah.
That's a big
And
chunk.
I've also, I worked in the music industry. I worked for Canadian Music Week for a few years, really learned the industry side of things. And then when I quit there and now I just teach voice and piano, I feel like it's really pushed my musicality forward because I'm listening and learning tunes I wouldn't normally go to learn just because that's what the student wants. So it's good. It's good for me that way. So I'm all sides, getting it from all sides.
It's excellent.
Yeah, most of the time I find myself disappointed. But
lofty expectations?
It's just, I find it's just, what draws me back in is like sound, like interesting sounds, like just kind of a honest vibe to things that are just, you find it in all kinds of styles, but it's just there.
Right.
It's hard to describe, but
you know it when you feel it.
Yeah, you feel it, and you get it from all kinds of places. But
yeah, and I do think that it has that ability that we are all susceptible to our ups and downs, and it is a rhythm and a wave, and music is, and sound waves are, and like you said with Carey, like the music can just power you through that because it will change the frequencies that you're feeling, and so it's not just it's not pie in the sky that music changes your mood. It does.
Oh, it
totally does.
You can turn a bad day into a good day by putting the right song on.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, we're gonna put another right song on here at Barber Shop Podcast. We're gonna have another live song from these guys. Ryan, once again, you've got the sound dialed in. It sounds really good here in the warm and comfy confines of Boxo Studio. We got one you're gonna play called "Gone Too Soon." Mm-hmm. Is there a story with this song?
Well, it's another co-write with Tom. I only have two co-writes with Tom, but this is the other one. No great story other than, I like writing about chemistry. So there you go.
And here's a good one right here at Barber Shop Podcast.
Far, 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 yeah, gone, gone too soon. Hollow in the bed, a shadow in the light. It's not about what you said, honey, last night. Oh, far, 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 far. You just said my name. Oh, I hesitate to ask. You might feel the same. Chemistry has got a hold on me. Whenever you walk in the room, a subtle touch brings weakness to my knees. Far, 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 you gone. Far, 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 yeah, gone, gone too soon. Chemistry has got a hold on me. Whenever you walk in the room, a subtle touch brings weakness to my knees. Far, 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 you gone. Far, 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 yeah, gone, gone too soon. Gone too soon. Gone too soon.
Gone too soon, and that song was over too soon. My goodness.
Nice.
Sweet,
That's a
sweet
good
sound.
compliment.
It is. Again, it's from the heart is what I'm saying. That is great stuff. Mississippi Bends. You're going to be hearing a lot from this band in the future, and we're going to have their links on our page, barbershoppodcast.com. At the end of the show, you can get us on iTunes, on YouTube, Stitcher Radio, and barbershoppodcast.com. Get a hold of us on Twitter at Podcast Barber, Google Plus. Just put it in a search engine, you'll find us. We're not going anywhere. So I want to talk about some of the kind of seminal influences in the way of, if you hear one artist or you hear one song from someone who you just, oh God, I wish I could write/play like that person. And I know everyone's got a few, but who comes to mind? I'm going to ask each one of you. Start with you, Andrew.
Well, I mean, there's the typical guitar players sort of thing. I've always been. It's funny because I've always sort of identified with guitar players that when I found them or when I first discovered them, it was more. It wasn't as much as wow, what's that they're doing. It was more, oh, that's what I hear in my head, and this person's able, it's possible to make that sound or to do that. And for me, it was Jeff Beck and Bill Frisell are the guys that I identified with the first time I heard them. And where Brian May, Eddie Van Halen, to Buddy Miller, to Peter Frampton is another.
Amazing
I
guitar
love
player.
Peter Frampton, but those guys are more. I hear them and like, oh, that's cool. They're great players. But it wasn't the same thing as like the Jeff Beck, Bill Frisell thing where I heard them and I was like, get out of my head. Like, that's what I sort of hear. But but still, there's songs like Beatles songs and everything from just tons of different songs that I hear that I wish I could write.
Yeah, it's hard to. You can't overthink that question because it's like being in a restaurant with a nice menu. You'll be there all day because there's so many. But and how about you, Carey? Is there? And it could be anyone. It could be someone where, it's like, wow, I hear that. That in particular song, and and I keep getting reminded that that's someone who really blows me away. They got a real.
I don't know if there's a specific bass player. I mean, obviously there's the classic great bass players. But I don't know. I gotta say, I've always kind of listened more to drums.
Yeah.
I always listen to the drums.
Is there a particular drummer who kind of...
I love like Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
Maybe probably my favorite drummer.
Okay. Yep. See,
I just like anybody with groove. That's got to top it off.
Yeah.
If you've got groove, you're good.
Patty Griffin.
Patty Griffin.
Mm-hmm.
What was your introduction to Patty Griffin?
My friend Kirsten Jones used to work at Universal Music, and she opened her trunk one day and pulled out a bunch of CDs, and it was pretty much like, I don't know, 3 or 4 Patty Griffin CDs. And so you got to listen to this. And I listened, like, she became my favorite.
Right.
So I've seen her live. I've got all her recordings. I think she's an amazing guitar player, amazing songwriter, amazing singer.
So this is good. Look up Patty Griffin. It comes from...
Oh, if you haven't heard Patty Griffin.
And there are people.
lived.
There's like, I always say there's like tons of people who haven't heard people we, take for granted. It's just that it's always nice. And I always a lot of times get really interesting ideas when I ask people that. I go, I'm going to look at that, or I haven't heard that for years. Yeah. How about you? And it doesn't have to be a drummer. It can be any kind of musician.
More often than not, it wasn't. There was what Andrew was saying that's interesting. Like you hear, most of the time the drummers that I were attracted to were people you'd hear and you go, it almost sounds like the drummer's in my head already and producing sounds that you hear in your head that you want to produce yourself. So there's great drummers I've listened to. A recent one, Jay Belrose, who plays with Ray LaMontagne, I love. Because he's just... It's like, wow, you kind of thought my thought ahead of me kind of thing. But artists that are really kind of authentic, I don't know, that's kind of an overused word, but like Gillian Welsh is a big influence. I really like
big time.
how honest she is. And that always attracts me. It doesn't matter who.
And I always use that as my ultimate, as the word, my criteria is like, do you believe them? And I don't care who I'm looking at on stage and even what their proficiency level is. If I believe them is the question. It's like they can be have all the chops in the world. If I don't believe it, it's missing something. And I asked that question in particular because we're gonna play another tune that you recorded from one of my favorite artists, Neil Young. Because I think that he's gone through so many changes and he's got such an ability to write in space and to use language and again to have a voice that some people would belittle and other people just kind of gobsmacked at the musicality of it. So we got a little something from Mississippi Benz by the way of Neil Young, Tonight's the Night on barbershoppodcast.com.
Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. Tonight's the night. Bruce Berry was a working man. He used to load that Econoline band. Tonight's the night. Tonight's the
With JP and Robin sitting in.
Okay, well, we'll say that. There we go. Barbershop Podcast tonight. Little Neil Young tune done by Mississippi Benz. You guys, little plug. Got Robin and Carey are playing tomorrow night in Hamilton, Ontario. That's Cat and Fiddle, Thursday at the corner of
John and Augusta.
Yeah, John and Augusta here in Hamilton, Ontario, which is an amazing town for music. I want to touch on that as far as Hamilton. I mean, each and every week we trot out another fantastic band, out of Hamilton, Ontario. And when we started this a year and a half ago, I keep getting back to this. I didn't think there would be this much musical talent. I thought we'd have to spin off into other areas, but it's just endless. And I'm thrilled each and every week at the kind of quality that's in here. And I have to admit that even though years in the industry, your Rolodex gets to a certain size, you get kind of a bit complacent, and then you start getting exposed and you realize, wow, it's like anything else. The more I know, the less I know. And just being open that if I haven't heard of someone, I'm more excited than ever to have them come in because they're guaranteed to be great. And I haven't been disappointed yet. So I'm going to get you to launch right back into another fierce live number here. Got you sounding great at Boxo Studio, where if you need a kick-ass recording, come to Boxo Studio. If you need a kick-ass video, Ryan Cannon Video, he provides on a regular basis. Got a little something you're going to play called My Highway? Mm-hmm. Okay, give it to us.
Oh, this ain't my first rodeo. Oh, this ain't my first rodeo. I can ride into town like a one-man band. I'll hustle down, take a horse and steal the show again. All this guilt seeping out my skin. Don't know why, 'cause I ain't done you no sin. I've been trapped in this house just killing time. I've been trying not to
here at barbershoppodcast.com. We've got Mississippi Benz, the lovely Mary Simon, coming in to share with us a great incarnation of another group of Hamiltonians and musicians. So tell us, what is in the future? What have you got planned in the next little while for Mississippi Benz?
Well, we want to play a lot of live shows, but we're all so busy. But it's just getting out there, booking, trying to do a bit of a little touring and recording, more recording. And there's going to be, we're looking at April 1st because when the songs we have on our website right now, we have live video footage too. So we'll be uploading that. Probably a song every 2 weeks, starting April 1st, and back in the studio in May.
Now, this business has come very much a do-it-yourself sort of deal. There's whole segments that used to be handled by other people, and you've got the experience of being actually involved in the music industry. How have you found that element of promoting yourself and getting your music out there? You were mentioning going to media like television shows and getting things out there, getting on the lists, exposing people to your music. How do you pick these things up? Do you just through the industry, through experience?
Oh yeah, it's because of Canadian Music Week I met a lot of music supervisors, so that's why I pitched to film and television. I wouldn't have known what to do if I wasn't working at Canadian Music Week, but even as to put out there to other artists. Like, I just learned so much going to Canadian Music Week. I know I worked there, but I am an advocate of their conference because this industry is all about networking.
Yes,
100%. So, and pretty much most people in the industry will sit down and have a beer with you if they like what you're doing.
So if you had one piece of advice, there's a band out there that is earnest and has got some good stuff and working hard, what would be that one piece of advice that you would give them when they really don't know what they're doing now? We've got music, we've got original music, we have a recording. What do we do?
Build your fan base, because the industry will start to take notice when you have a fan base, and not before in this day and age. In this day and age of the industry, until you have a fan base. It's just like, forget it.
Cart before the horse.
Because of the media, because everything's accessible online, you need to build a following. And so go play lots of live shows, get videos on YouTube, all that stuff, Facebook, Twitter, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I find that there's a mentality from a past generation where you would husband and covet these songs and these precious little things and wait for this coronation that was going to happen.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen anymore. You have to constantly get yourself out there, and you have to constantly cultivate, as you said, your core audience. These are the people who are going to make or break you.
Yeah.
And you do it by putting out quality stuff and treating people like gold.
Yeah,
who believe in you and support you.
Absolutely.
All right, we're going to play another song off of your latest recording, Hard to Get. Probably another song about a boy.
Yeah.
The best ones are.
Yeah. This is I call it the gambling song, because my friend Shelley and I co-wrote it together, and we just went to town with the gambling analogies. And one of my other girlfriends said to me, marriage is a crapshoot, because relationships are, right?
Yeah.
Like, you got to be willing to take some risks.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Right here, barbershoppodcast.com.
Board games, card games, play the slots, chips in, play
Forget by Mississippi Benz, recorded at Porcelain Studios with Nick Bologna.
Oh no, poor Nick.
It'll kill me. But each and every week here at Barber Shop Podcast, we have a plethora of talent in here, and this week is no different. And I am thrilled to have been able to assist in bringing Mississippi Benz to you. Now you've been exposed to them. It's on you to seek them out, and next time you see that they're playing somewhere live, for goodness sake, go out and see them. Give yourself a treat. Live music in general. We've got a couple months left of this weather. No excuse. You go inside of any number of these establishments that feature live music. Quite often there's heating in there. There's cold beverages. There's warm food. People are laughing. And there's music surging through the room. And it really helps get you through this time of year. And I'm so glad that you've made it down tonight and you've shared your talent and your vision with us. I'm thrilled as usual. And you're going to play one more for us before you head out tonight.
Yep, this is another brand new one that Carey and I wrote over this cold winter. I gotta remember how it goes.
Out of the tree, a little seed fell to the ground. Say your mama said you're gonna knock the knees of every girl you were begging to please. I love the way you make me lose my mind. You drive me crazy with every touch. You drive the train right off the tracks. You got the engine hot and the wheels are screaming. The brake is pulled, but my heart's still reeling. Love the way you make me lose my mind. Troubles, baggage, throw them off the train. I'll ride this rail until I go insane. Troubles, I give it all away. You got me all mixed up like the
Lose My Mind, and that's what I'm doing here. Wonderful night of music with Mississippi Benz, one of the newest, greatest, super groups out of Hamilton, Ontario. Get a nice slab of it at your earliest convenience. Mary Simon, thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having
And
us.
Robin Pieirson, thank you. Andrew Aldridge. You know, you've graced us with your beauty and your presence, and
My beauty.
your beauty and presence, but you pale in comparison to Carey. And she gets her 2-show star.
Yeah.
It's like Saturday Night Live around here.
Gosh.
Yeah, she's raising up the ranks. Come here, and Ryan Cannon, another show in the bag, number 67.
Yeah. You just spoiled the. Yeah. Whatever.
It wasn't. It was just all you have to do. Get a hold of us at Barber Shop Podcast. Like it. The first person to come in and say, I want that $20 gift certificate from Crash Landing is yours. We'll check it as soon as the show's over and contact you. In the meantime, check us out each and every week here at barbershoppodcast.com. Next week we have the immortal Rita Shirelli, who's coming in, is going to tell her story. If there's anyone who is more Hamilton, I don't know. But I'm going to be pleased as punch to have her in here. And you guys, thanks so much for coming and joining us. No, that's Nick. He always wants to get a hold of me at the wrong time. Now he's forever on TV. Barbershop Podcast each and every week. Thanks for coming out.
See you.